What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we are going to kick off our 2021 FPI breakdowns with the Alabama Crimson Tide. So the FPI has now come out, the very first preseason rankings from ESPN, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the top teams and really breaking down what the FPI says about them, what they say about their chances to make the college football playoff, what they're projecting their record to be, all of that. And we're going to start with the number one team here in Alabama. They are number one in the FPI. They have a 28.0 FPI, meaning against a neutral field against the average opponent, which, and I mentioned this in some other videos, that would be Colorado. Colorado is the closest team to zero on the FPI scale. So that's your average team on a neutral field. Alabama would beat that team by 28 points. And again, they are number one in the very first FPI rankings. How about their record? Well, they are projected to go 11.1 and 1.6. That would be including an SEC championship, but not past there. The FPI does not go past the conference championship games, but you can see here they're almost guaranteed to go to the SEC championship according to the FPI, and they're going to be in really good position to make it into the college football playoff there, losing maybe one regular season game. Maybe they're undefeated going into that conference championship game. That's what the FBI thinks about them. To go undefeated, meaning winning every single game, including the SEC championship, only a 16% chance. They did it last year, but this year the FBI not really seeing a huge number there. 16% is still a pretty high number when you talk about going undefeated, just because it's very hard to go undefeated. So again, that seems like kind of a low number at 16%. But when you look at the other team, it's actually the second highest. It's actually the second highest percentage. Clemson's the highest at 21%. Alabama there at 16%, the second best chance to go undefeated out of any team in college football. And I'd love to know what that percentage would be if you did not count the SEC championship, because I think that's going to be their toughest game this year. I don't know what that number would be, but including the SEC championship, a 16% chance to go undefeated. They have a 100% chance to go at least 6-6. They're going to go to a bowl game. Really no chance that they miss out on a bowl this year. Again, 100% chance that they win 6 or more games. Win the division. How about this? 63.4% chance that they win the SEC West. You've got LSU, you've got Texas A&M, you've got Auburn. The FBI pretty high on all of these teams. So they could see another team potentially winning that division. But again, clearly the favorite. If you're taking Alabama versus the field, the percentages would favor Alabama here at 63.4%, as they are the clear favorites to win the SEC West. Win the SEC, well, they're barely above 50%, 51.3%. But still, if you're taking it Alabama versus the field, the FBI would give you Alabama. More than a 50% chance. That's a really high number when you're talking about all the teams that have a chance. So better than 50% chance that Alabama is your SEC champion in 2021, according to the FBI. And how about making the college football playoff? You see here, they actually have a better chance to make the playoff than they do to win the SEC or even win the SEC West. They're at 76.3% chance to make the college football playoff. That is a huge, huge number, really high number. I think it's actually number one in these FBI rankings, because there are other paths for them. They can go undefeated in the regular season, lose a close game in the SEC championship. They can lose a regular season game but win the SEC championship. They can probably lose a regular season game and to an undefeated Texas A&M or LSU and not go to the SEC championship and probably still get into the college football playoff. So there are multiple paths for Alabama, and that's why their percentage, I think, is so high, 76.3%. Make it to the national championship game, they've got a 50.8% chance. So again, if you're taking Alabama versus the field, the percentages would barely be in favor of Alabama making it to the national championship. Not winning the national championship, but making it to the national championship. A very, very high number. That means it's better than a 50% chance that Alabama will be in the national championship, according to the FBI. And then finally, win the national championship. 30.8% chance that Alabama wins it all this year. That is a very, very high number. It is number one. which makes sense. They're number 1 in the FPI rankings. That is number 1. Number 2 is actually Oklahoma at 25.7% chance. You look at Alabama, Oklahoma, and then Clemson. Those are the only teams that are even in double digits. So you see, Alabama has clearly separated themselves. Most of the teams under 10%. That means Alabama is the overwhelming favorite to win the national championship this year, according to the FPI. As you take a look at these numbers again, what jumps out? It's that playoff percentage. A higher chance to win the college football playoff than to win your division, win the SEC. That just tells me that the FBI sees, like I said, multiple ways for the Crimson Tide to make it into the college football playoff, and more than a 75% chance that they are in the college football playoff again in 2021. Give me your thoughts on this. What do you think about their FBI ranking? Do you think they're overrated or underrated going into this season? Again, your thoughts down in the comments below, and thank you for watching this video.